Welcome to The Spotlight, the podcast where veterans and military spouses connect and share how their military experience has transformed their lives and their businesses. Here's your host, Bob Louthen.
Hey, this is your host, Bob Louthen, founder of the Veteran Crowd Network, the network that brings veterans and veteran-led businesses together with each other and the resources they need to prosper. And you are tuning into The Spotlight. Hey, welcome everybody. This is Bob Louthen and welcome to The Spotlight on the Veteran Crowd Network. I am thrilled today to have Bill Watkins, West Point grad, class of 1977, as my guest, a fellow combat engineer, entrepreneur. I think he's a sage here. Bill Watkins, welcome to the Spotlight. Thanks for joining us today.
I have got to get my mother to listen to this so she knows what an awesome son she rose. Right? She reared, I guess is the better word.
That's right.
Well, here I'm a sage is a privilege.
To use another term, way back in the days when I was in Y Indian Guides, we had the sachem, the wise member of the tribe. And so it's really a thrill to have you here. Bill, tell everybody what the Lion's Pride is. Let's start with that. Then we're going to go back and go through, our sordid past of how we became combat engineers way back in the day. But tell everybody what the Lion's Pride is.
Sure. So we are an accelerator. I always say, well, there's a lot of vehicles you can drive, and there's a lot of places you can go to work on your business and work on your life. We are, for the right people at the right time, looking for the right things. We are Formula One for sure. It's breathtaking. It's hard ass work, and not everybody gets in. So in the world of the military, there's great infantry units. There's then the airborne units, and then you can join Ranger or Delta. And we are that for the right people. And so we're working on through a number of touch points, online curriculum to quarterly live events. We call them tactical advances, Bob, out at my ranch in Victor, Idaho. So there's a lot of different touch points for everyone in our group. The demographic I say first is that you need to be certified badass. You're already talented. You've already been successful, but you're not being as impactful as you can be. And we can guide you to that level of impact and that level of acceleration. 0 to 60 in 5 seconds is great. 0 to 60 in under 2 seconds is fantastic and even better. And that's what we do for people. So, Bob, our demographic primarily is, as I said, certified badass. About half of our members, and we speak directly to the military veteran crowd. Now, we are not an exclusive veteran only organization, or we call it a cohort, Bob. But we are looking to attract people who were not in the military, but would like to understand that experience and learn from it. And then we want to attract military vets from a variety of branches who are now what I call either startup entrepreneurs, that's pre or early revenue. And I would say that's probably about 40% of our crowd. And then growth, small business owners up to about 100 million. And I know there's a big diversity between, say, what you're doing at 5 million and what you're doing at 50 million. But anyway, we attract them, and we call them growth small business owners. So there you go. We're all in the same room, and we're all in the same cohort, and we're accelerating towards whatever 10x level impact is.
You're out in Jackson, Wyoming, and ranch in Idaho. Did you grow up out west, or how'd you end up? Where'd you grow up, and how'd you end up going to West Point?
Mm-hmm. Well, let me split that. I'll address West Point first. I grew up as a military brat.
You were everywhere. You had lots of stickers on the suitcase. Okay.
My father enlisted in the Marines in 1944. He deployed to the Pacific. And then after World War II, there was some program, which he never divulged to us, but in 48, the Army or West Point or the Marines, I don't know, but they got him into West Point. and he graduated in 52, and he made a 31-year career of the military. I can't remember of which, for whatever reason, he had several assignments at West Point as cadre. And he was the IG, the director of admissions, and then held higher level positions as permanent party. And so I grew up in and around West Point in many, many seasons of his moving us around. But that wasn't why I went.
Yeah.
Because I was a pretty much, my dad raised us to be very independent, my brother and my sister, and we were. We did not want to follow in our father's footsteps as some sort of default, and he didn't want it either. He did not like that pressure to be something. He wanted us to be what we felt we should become. He encouraged us, and so I went to the University of New Hampshire on scholarship. I was in ROTC and lacrosse scholarships, and I was working my ass off to to pay for my education. I didn't take a penny from my parents. And after a while, I was getting that 1970s college experience. Yes, I am that old. Back when dinosaurs roamed university campuses, and
You still had wooden sticks to play lacrosse with
we
back in the
did,
day
bro. And
too.
I
Yeah.
still I still could find that stick that I
You didn't have the one that
lovingly
was
molded.
actually the bent piece of
Yep,
wood that did
got
you
it,
actually, oh my goodness. Okay.
got it.
We're
The
really
leather's
dating
probably
ourselves now,
rotted.
Bill. I
So
mean,
at
there
at
there are lacrosse bros out there, and I think you and I are like lacrosse granddads. I mean,
our great granddads.
anyway,
Yeah,
back to the story.
half the team was Indians in loincloths. It was that long ago, Bob.
That's
So
right. Okay.
anyway, I remember I struggled in an economics class. I went over to the professor who encouraged us to connect. There was a list on his door. He said, I'm in the office on Fridays, and here are my help appointments. And the next appointment I could get was way beyond the final. And I went, this is stupid. I could go to West Point because I knew West Point educational system, and I could literally go over to the professor's house and sit at the kitchen table. It was that intimate, the experience.
Right.
And so I hitchhiked down to West Point to the admissions office. My father was director of admissions at the time. I told them, do not tell my father I am here. I want to reapply to West Point. They said, you turned us down already out of high school. You will not get a nomination.
Yeah.
I said, has anybody gotten a second nomination? They said, yeah, about 0.0001%. I said, I want to be one of them. I did get a
And like
nomination. I got
Jim
a
Carrey and Dumb and Dumber. So you're saying there's a chance.
and then I graduated in 77. So
Yeah.
I came in as I'd already been to college for a while. You asked me a second question, which was, how did I get to Jackson, Wyoming?
Yeah.
Uh, well, in 2010-ish, I owned a very successful enterprise. We had, five operating companies or five companies.
Was there a specific industry that you were in that business?
Yeah, it was all based around a patent or several patents that I had developed in compression fabrics. So we had three industries. We had medical devices, class 3 and class 2. We had sports apparel, really high. There's a lot of science behind compression, muscular performance, and all
Right.
that. So we had sports, and then we had women's intimate wear, and so we made all sorts of shapewear and Spanx kind of
Right. Right.
products. And so those were global. We were in about 90 countries. Decided to sell it all somewhere around the summer of 10. Met with my CPA or the deal CPA and the deal attorney. When you want to sell, I don't know, 2012-ish or earlier, if the deal's right. We recommend that you relocate out of Georgia personally, because the company was owned by a trust, so we could relocate the trust. And they said you should move to a non-tax state. All the non-tax state income tax states weren't interesting to Donna and I, except Wyoming. We'd been here like you as kids. We took Citus in the fall of 10, and began establishing our residency, which we did in 11. And then when we sold the businesses on December 4th, 12, Wyoming. We were
Uh,
Wyoming residents, and the trust was a Wyoming trust.
how about that? Yeah, I want to take you back to West Point, and it, I think we went to military school, right?
Yep.
And I think military school itself gave us some great gifts.
Yep.
Uh, one of the things that I think it gave us was failure. Uh, it gave us the gift of failure and learning how to deal with that.
Yep.
And as have developed the lion's pride
Oh yeah.
and all the lessons that you're teaching in this,
Mm,
I want to talk a little bit about failure and the value of that. We live in a
yep.
society where everybody's so scared to even show that
Huh.
they're vulnerable, much less that they ever failed in
Yeah.
anything.
It's such bullshit, and if I need to put some pepper on my salty language, just like raise the bill, clean it up card. But
No.
I just talk naturally. But here we go. I always tell my team, we've got a global team of about 14 people at the Lions Pride now, and we grew that from squat. Me just saying, "Hey, I want to develop this thing." But along the way, if you said, "Oh, Bill's got wisdom and all that," yeah, I got it on overnight, Bob. I'm an overnight success. Just check out my Instagram feed. I'm so freaking great. Overnight success. Listen, Bob, I ran down so many rabbit trails. I've had so many failures. I've got so many scars. It could be frightening to the wrong person. That does create wisdom. So I tell my team, listen, we embrace failure here, but we don't freaking celebrate it.
Hmm.
Nobody celebrates getting number two at the Super Bowl, right? You
Right.
want the freaking trophy and you want the ring. And so we will, and this is what I learned at the academy, like you, Bob, is we will win through adversity, through challenge, and even through failure. Are we trying to fail? Heck no. Will we fail? It's probably inevitable. Let's make sure it's not catastrophic. If I'm rock climbing on a big wall, I don't want to fall 3,000 feet, but if I fall 25 feet, it'll hurt like hell, but I'll live to climb another day. That's okay. And so, what I learned at the academy is freaking resilience. You and I heard, now, neither, I don't think you were, I certainly wasn't in combat. Okay.
Right.
But we came post Vietnam, the army sucked back then, but it was the best we had for what we were
We
trained
were
for.
part of the conversion, the resurgence period of the Army is the way I would describe it. It.
Exactly. And so, but we were trained by some of the best military institutions in leadership and all this sort
Mhm.
of stuff. And one thing I know you heard, like I heard, was accomplish the mission. I heard that from my dad when I was a
Mhm.
kid. We accomplish the mission. And so, accomplish the mission. There's the hill, there's all these bad guys. How do we get to the top?
Mhm.
I don't know. And so we go 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 go. That happened to me in my military career. I have so many stories, about where I screwed up as an L lieutenant or a captain or whatever. My corporate career, thank goodness my bosses were forgiving. And certainly in my entrepreneurial career, it is a storied past, but has led me to a level of wisdom. You called me a sage. Thanks. That's nice. That and $2 gets me coffee at most cheap coffee places. Um, a level of wisdom and sageness, I guess, that makes me that so-called overnight success, Bob. That's what we learned. And that's why I'm attracted to. I'm not only attracted to military veterans. I love to connect with any badass person wherever they develop themselves. But Bob, you and I both know, especially this younger generation that maybe are listening, who are in combat, their missions in some cases were had lethal consequences.
Yes.
And so they had to accomplish the mission. They had to bring everybody home. And you and I don't understand that sort of thing, but we understand resilience in the face of adversity.
I met a guy early in my career when I was trying to learn about the venture capital business. And I remember him, I chased him down in the old days of networking before social media and LinkedIn. And I chased him down and bought him a cup of coffee. His name was Henry Barrett, lived in the DC area. And I've never forgotten what he told me. I said, Henry, I wanted to meet you because everybody tells me that, you just have, you know, all the lessons and you have um, the greatest experience and so forth. And he looked at me and said, well, Bob, I've probably lost more money doing this than anybody you'll ever meet. So
There you
if
go,
that's
bro.
how you get experience and become an expert in a business, I'm your guy. And so I've never forgotten that lesson. Hey, let me ask you one other little thing that's maybe part of your formative nature or the foundation of you. You were a world class athlete, a
Mm,
cyclist,
mm,
on the Olympic team.
mm.
Uh,
That's correct.
Tell that story, but I'm also interested of how you might think that that experience has shaped Bill Watkins, how that experience transformed your business, and how that experience plays into what you're doing with the Lions Pride.
Yep, it does, Bob. And I'm a donor to West Point. I've created an endowment for the cycling team. It's not a major sport. I know they wish I would donate money some other place than the darn cycling team, but cycling gave me a start. So I was always a lacrosse player, as you and I laughed about, going all the way back to my high school days. I was also a skier all the way back to my toddler days. And so I made my way in athletics in the spring and the summer in lacrosse, and in the fall and the winter for skiing. And I got to some very high levels, and it was great. I had several knee injuries related to those sports, and I had one in 1974. I believe it was a skiing. I don't know. I had knee surgery, major knee
Do you
surgery
still
again.
ski today? Can you ski
Oh
today?
yeah. Hmm.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
you're in the heart
Fortunately,
of it.
yeah. Oh, definitely. I just skied yesterday for a couple hours. Backcountry skied. Climb up the mountain, ski down, climb up the
Oh,
mountain, ski down.
yeah.
Anyway, Bob, in that summer of '74, I wanted to come back for the cross season in the fall, and my surgeon said, "Well, you got two choices. You can either swim to rehabilitate. That's all they had at the time. Swim or bicycle." I
Hmm.
thought swimming would be boring with my face in the pool and I possibly could drown. And I thought cycling would be fun. You're a 19-year-old kid. So I started cycling and I, just was out on my own with my little tennis shoes and my little bike. And I happened to come across West Point cyclists because there was I think it was a 1-year-old program bicycling team and they rode with me and then later they encouraged me. They were upperclassmen, but we were athletes, so they talked to me. They encouraged me to come that fall to cycle with them, which I did. I found out I was pretty good at it. I won the collegiate championships in '77. I had a 3-month leave before my duty station in Fort Ord with the 13th Engineers, and I went across the country and I was on the podium of many, many national level events. So, which culminated in a national podium, uh, national championship podium. Butch Martin, the Olympic coach at the time, noticed me. He took me to the World Championships in '77 and then nominated me to the Olympic development team, and the rest is history. I was on the Olympic development team uh, through the '80 Olympics when we boycotted
Yeah.
the Russians, the Moscow Olympics. I went to a duty station in Korea. I served for several tours in Korea as a company commander. And then in '82, I wrestled with getting out of the Army because I wanted another shot at '84 Olympics. Eddie Borisevich and Tim Kelly told me I had zero chance because I'd been out of the program. I still wanted to try back to the adversity thing we talked about.
Worst
And
thing
I
they could
went,
have done was lay the challenge in front of you, right?
and they did. They said, listen, Billy, and Eddie was very kind to me. He said, you're a very good athlete. I don't know that you're a great athlete. And we've been training great athletes for the last 2 years while you were in the military. He said, I honor your service, but I can't tell you you even have a shot in hell. And eventually I earned my spot on the OD team, made it to national championships, made the Olympic long team. I believe we won a silver in that event that year. I don't remember. Those riders were better than me, but I was a headstrong kid. I thought I had earned a spot, which I
You
hadn't.
still riding a bike today?
Nope. I traded my bike in after winning the national championships. I did a comeback 2009 to 2011, and I had a specific goal, which I achieved, which was the national championship gold medal in 2011. And I retired from cycling on the spot. I made a
There you go.
comeback in 2009 from hadn't ridden I don't know, a mile on my bike since 1984, and made a comeback. Wanted to prove that this was possible. It's all on the adversity resilience thing. And then I retired and traded that for hiking shoes, rock climbing shoes, and backcountry knowledge that gets me back from wild places so that I can survive and thrive another day.
Yeah, it was us analog army guys know how to read a map. We can actually find our way around without GPS.
And a compass, bro. And all
Yeah,
these people are out there with their GPSs that are running out of battery. And I got a map and I got a compass and a straight edge, and I can get us there. You're
there
right.
you go. There you go. Hey, let's talk a little bit about the Lions Pride and how it all came together. But let me
Yep.
ask the question this way: what
Yep.
kind of books do you like to read?
Mm,
I'm curious.
yeah. Well, I think those who don't read don't learn. And Carol Dweck talks about the growth and the fixed mindset. I'm definitely a growth mindset. I have 4 books going right now. Two here in Jackson at the house, and 2 over at the ranch.
Have you ever thought
Um,
about writing a book with all this stuff that you?
yep, that will happen this year.
Okay, because you're gonna
Well,
got all the content. It's time to put it all together in one package, huh?
you are correct. I actually have 3 books that I would like to write. I'm working with a member of our team to put together the first 4 chapters of the first book, and I believe it will be published and ready to go well, that's our goal, is the end of the year. Um, what am I reading? I'm reading Epictetus, who is a Stoic back in the Greek days. So I enjoy reading on Stoicism. I just finished another of Ryan Holiday's books. I've reread it. I'm reading David Bashir's book on, I forget what it's called, but he's the IMAX cameraman who was filming the 1996 Everest, the tragic Everest expedition. He's been up Everest several times. A really, really cool guy that I intend to hang out with sometime soon. And then I'm reading, probably, I said 4 books. I probably have 6 books going, because each tactical advance, we deliver a book, an author, and a teaching related to accelerating our members. Last time we talked about what's her name? Beverly Clance's work on the imposter phenomena. And we did Matthew Walker's on why sleep matters. And so between Jeff and I, we curated probably about 20 books. We had one of Susan's researchers on with us, and to talk about the imposter phenomena. And then we had Walker Diebel come and talk about his book, which is basically based in the M&A field. So it's a wide swath of fiction, of nonfiction books.
Mm-hmm.
But my son is a writer, and back 14 years ago, he's now 29. He said, Dad, you're very boring. All you read are business books. You need to read fiction, and promise me you'll read a minimum of 4 a year. And so he sends me titles, and I read those books. And I've read everything from Gatsby to Hemingway to Stoicism
Mm-hmm.
to all that stuff.
I hope you're enjoying this episode with Bill Watkins, our guest. We've got so much to talk about. We've broken this episode into 2 parts. And so this concludes the first part. And listen in next time to hear the second part of our time with Bill Watkins, the founder and CEO of the Lions Pride. He is a 1977 graduate of the U.S. Military Academy at West Point, and we've got a lot more to talk about next time, including his upcoming trip to the base of Mount Everest and a few other life lessons that he's learned from his time in the military. Bravo Zulu to you, Bill, and we look forward to having all of you back with us next time.
Thank you for listening to Spotlight by Veteran Crowd. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. For more information and uploads, please visit our website at veterancrowdnetwork.com. We'll see you next time.